So, this is my last attempt. I am going to be filming my September reading wrap up. I read 9 books in September, but I will only be talking about 7 of them because I accidentally talked about 2 of them last month, or in the last wrap up. Before I start this wrap up, let it be known that I feel like I don't have these books ingrained in my brain. So if things seem everywhere, that definitely makes sense. As always, I do not physically read the books. I do listen relationship grows, they also are tasked to work on a book together, and this book just happens to be about Nora, and that kind of gets under her skin. A lot of things about this book, in my opinion, didn't reach their potential romance-wise. Like, I think that the tension, the jealousy, the chemistry was almost there, but it didn't quite reach that for me. I do think that Charlie, like there are a couple good scenes between Charlie and Nora, but I don't know, like their general interactions, relationship didn't really do it for me. It's not that I didn't like them. I think Charlie's a good guy. I just really can't remember a lot about them two. Oh, aside from what I wrote, which I said Nora is like a real person. I think that my chemistry was also, or like their chemistry for me was also hindered by the fact that they kind of got together really early on, and I really don't like that. Unfortunately, their enemy phase kind of lasts 5 seconds, and that sucks because it was good. Like, their banter was good. I did write in my review that I wanted a big moment to happen between this, I was giving, in my opinion, too much away. So I'm really trying not to do that. I'm not very good at wrap-ups, if you haven't noticed, but I'm trying my best still. And if I just so happen to be not that good at these a year later, I will have the same excuse that I at least am trying my best. Let me tell you though, this book is very good, at least to me. I know that I don't think a lot of people like this book. They don't like one of these books. I don't remember which one it is. But I do. I think the magic in this world is very good. Like, I think it's interesting, and I love the respect that Selena has for it. Like, I know she's a baddie. She doesn't do a lot of assassin things in this book, aside from the trials or whatever. Guys, there's a lot that goes on in this book. You will not be bored, I promise. However, if you are more interested in the romance area, I would not recommend this for you, I think. But in my opinion, the romance is good enough, and the little that we get, like, it's just, give it to me. This series is kind of multi-POV, but it is in third person. It's honestly not annoying. It's not too much. So don't worry about that. I thought this was really good. I definitely am not saying every thought that I'm thinking because I have forgotten it. I forgot to say that I also read Crown of Midnight, and I gave this a 5 out of 5. This continues from the last book. I'll try not to give too much away, but obviously our main character is still around. So Selena creates like new friends, and I would say that everybody kind of levels up magic-wise. Everyone's learning more about everyone. So Selena is definitely more of a baddie in this book. She does bring out that ruthless assassin, which I love when we're shown like that person will kill for their people. I love that. No matter who's doing it, like if someone's defending you, I love that. Perfect. There is a betrayal, and there are like OMGY moments. Some OMGY moments happen in the like romance version, or in the romance area, and let me just get into that. I still feel the want for Selena to get with either man. I don't care. Be with both of them at the same time. I love how both of these guys like want to protect her, and they feel jealousy for each other, honestly. I honestly do not know how Kale or Dorian did not. Like, I don't know how their feelings, the way they feel for Selena, developed. Like, they have such strong feelings for her, and I am just like, I don't know exactly how that happened, but I like it. Aside from them spending time with her. So, like I said, this book is more fantasy than romance, so the romance we are given, like, I want more. I think I said this, but Kale is more the slow burn of the book. Gosh, I cannot choose. Guys, if you guys have, like, a really good, love triangle moment, like, book, go ahead and let me know, because I love them. Also, this is random, but something else I look for is, like, protective, jealousy, possessive type stuff, and I don't know if this could have derived from my Italian boss mafia Wattpad days or whatever, because, like, that is something I'm always looking for, and I don't know where that came from, so I'm gonna go ahead and label that there. The next book I read was One Dark Window, and I gave this a 4 out of 5. I think the concept of this book was actually really great. I enjoyed the uniqueness to this book, and honestly, I did like all the side characters. The nightmare character that we see throughout the book is so interesting to me. I is one card that, like, I think you have to get like 12 cards, and one of the cards is one of one. It is kind of a race to whoever gets that. The group that Elspeth is a part of contains the main male character, Raven, and he's basically the general for the king. And if you couldn't guess, these guys are our romance people. Going to be honest, this book does lack romance-wise. I feel like we really didn't even know the characters. Like, their connection was not good. It developed from nothing, in my opinion. You're definitely forced to like them. Like, I like them together, but it was not done right. Like, I definitely don't need them together. I want to love them together, but I don't. The cards, like, situation, the magic, these 12 cards, I forgot to say, have different magics, and I love that stuff. I don't know why. This kind of stuff also happens in Carval, and there's another book that is similar, but I cannot remember what it was. I heard that this book was kind of overrated, like, based off reviews, and honestly, I agree that it is overrated in the romance area. I think the fantasy area was pretty nice, actually. This book, I think, does lack, like, character-wise, but fantasy-wise, I think it is written well. But I don't know too much about books in that way, but that's my opinion. Would I recommend this book? I would recommend this book. What I'm saying, I have not finished this series, but I'm excited to do that. The next book I read was Funny Story by Emily Henry. I rated this a 4 out of 5. So basically, this follows our main female character Daphne and our main male character Miles. These guys, Daphne is engaged to, I forgot his name, and Miles has a girlfriend named Petra. Petra and this guy, they are childhood best friends. On this guy's bachelor trip, Petra's like, oh my god, I love you, and he's like, okay, I love you too, let's get together. So Daphne and Miles, they're like, oh god, what do we do? So they have to live together, and they're both a mess. And if you could not guess the rest of the story, well, what forced proximity will do, Daphne and Miles kind of go through their trauma, honestly, together and become close. Daphne kind of realizes, oh god, my entire life revolved around that guy. I need to make my own friends. So she kind of like is starting a whole new life. These guys both have their own set of difficulties or traumas aside from the marriage thing, and they kind of like figure that out together. Daphne is a librarian, and Miles he does various jobs, but he's kind of a laid back type of guy, definitely different from Daphne's ex. The thing about Miles is that he like knows his woman, so like he knows what to do for her and stuff like that, and I love that. So these side friendships in this book were definitely not annoying. I found this book to be really entertaining and cute, and I think I might have even found it funny. I've noticed with Emily Henry's books that they're kind of all a 4 out of 5. I think I've read like 3, so let's be lenient on what all means. But yeah, something about them lacks for me. They've never even come close to being a 5. But I would say that they're just generally good. I think Emily's books will just generally do it, as they obviously have as they're becoming movies, which is why I'm on my Emily Henry did I just say that? Emily Henry grind. Every time I say Emily Henry, I say Emily, and this happens like way more than you think. So would I recommend that book? I would recommend that book. I don't know if I said this, but I would not choose Book Lovers over Funny Story and vice versa, even though Funny Story has a higher rating, which I think that's deserved. I expected a something about these books really lack for me. I didn't hate it, and I did not love it, but the ending was nice. I felt that this book was a lot of I hate you, I will kill you. Then they see each other and they're like, heart eye emojis, and they're like, oh my god. And they threaten to kill each other, and then they don't. Surprise. And it kind of is that over and over and over and over until it's not. Luckily, this was not boring though, but it does kind of suck because they're supposed to be enemies based off the last book, but as one would guess, they are not. These guys kiss early on, and oh god, I hate that so much. It gets rid of so much anticipation and chemistry and tension. Like, all of that's gone to me. I just knew with this book I was not gonna get an epic enemies vibe or whatever. There was way too much banter, and it was not good, at least not to me. Everything was kind of banter, 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 and that can be done well with some books. Like, I do enjoy banter, but something about this banter is cringe to me, and don't even get me started on those nicknames that they have for each other. Let me just pause for a second and let's explain the premise of this book. Guy is forced down to track Peyton. If you've read the last book, you would know why. If you don't, that's okay. You'll maybe get there if you decide to read this. So, Guy is forced to track down Peyton on Kit's orders, and as one would think, Guy is not over his feelings. Surprise, no way, after only a week max. Peyton escapes many times, but when Guy and her are officially not getting rid of each other, it is obvious they both have feelings for each other, and they kind of try to fight it, but as time gets spent with one another, they start to come out. They also find out some information about the ordinaries. So, back to my complaining. These guys also say a certain phrase throughout the entire book, and it is so annoying, and it has to do with the fact that they don't want to admit that they like each other, and it's just like, guys, you're not fooling a single person.